Hello and welcome to Advanced Mathematics 1, Unit 8.4, Solving Quadratics with the Quadratic Formula. Yes, there are 4 ways to solve quadratic equations. Kind of crazy, right? All right, let's jump in. By the end of the lesson, you'll be able to do the following. Solve quadratics using the Quadratic Formula. You'll also be able to interpret the discriminant. We'll talk about what the discriminant is in a little bit. Main concepts. So if you have a quadratic in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, then you can solve it using the quadratic formula, which says x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You really need to memorize that formula. You'll be using it a lot. The discriminant is b minus 4ac because that's what's in b squared minus 4ac because that's what's inside the square root. Basically, it tells you what kind of solutions you're going to get. So when it's positive, there are 2 real solutions, or 2 x-intercepts. When it equals 0, there is 1 real solution, or 1 x-intercept. And when it's negative, there are no real solutions. So back in that picture, maybe it'll make a little more sense now. All right, for the first 2 problems, we are solving using the quadratic formula. So we want all of the terms on the same side of the equation with the 0 on the other side. And once we have that, we're ready to begin. So I identify my a, b, and c first. A is the term in front of the x squared term. B is the middle term. And c is the last term. So I'm not going to write x equals because that just takes a lot of time. So I'm just going to go with the first part. So it says x is equal to negative b, so negative 13, plus or minus square root of b squared, so negative 13 squared would be negative 13 times negative 13 is the same as 13 times 13, so that's 169. Minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is negative 24, all over 2 times a, which is 2. And now we're ready to simplify this. So negative 13 is 13. I can do all that square root at the same time. So I have 169 minus 4 times negative 24 is 553. Didn't need that big of a bar, but you know. All over 2 times 2, which is 4. Now I would want to see if 553 can simplify. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's 13. I don't think 553 simplifies, so that's our final answer, actually. So it's 13 plus or minus the square root of 553 all over 4. You always want to simplify your square root when possible. For example 2, I need to bring everything to the same side so I can identify my a, b, and c. So I will bring the negative 8 over to the other side by making it positive. Whoops. That's a plus, not an equal sign. I'm okay. There we go. Plus 8 equals 0. I'm just going to write them off to the side. A is negative 3. B is 1. C is 8. So I have, yes, I should have written x equals at the end. There we go. My bad. All right. So the quadratic formula. So the opposite of b, so negative 1, plus or minus square root of b squared, 1 squared is 1, minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. So let's simplify that. So I have 1 minus 4 times negative 3 times 8 is 97. All over 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Again, the square root of 97 can't be simplified. So generally what we do is we take that negative and we move it up top, and or you can write it up front. So this might be the easiest way, but I just move it up top. So it just changes the plus or minus to a minus or plus. So it doesn't really matter for that purposes, but you never leave a negative in the denominator. It's just not proper. So I have negative 7 over plus or minus the square root of 97 over positive 6. That's my final answer. Again, I want to move everything to the same side. This time I'm going to kick everything over here just because I feel like it. So I get 0 equals 3x squared. The minus 8x will become a positive 8x when it comes over here. And this will add 1 to the 2, which makes 3. So again, I'll write my a, b, and c off to the side. A is 3, b is 8, c is 3. So I have the opposite of b, which is negative 8, plus or minus square root b squared. 8 times 8 is 64, minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Just say it to yourself over and over again. You'll eventually remember it. All right, so let's simplify things. So negative 8 plus or minus, we have 64 minus 4 times 3 is 28. All over 2 times 3, which is 6. So 28, I believe, can be simplified, I think. Let's see. That's 2 times 14 and 2 times 7. So I can simplify that. I have negative 8 plus or minus 2 square root of 7 all over 6. Now I want to simplify that as well. 8 and 2 and 6 are all divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide out a 2 from everything. So I get x equals negative 4 plus or minus, dividing a 2 out of 2 square root of 7, I just get square root of 7, all over 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that is its most simplified form. So that's an example of one where you have to not only simplify the radical, you have to simplify the fractions at the end. Because if it helps you to think of it this way, this is basically what you're doing, and that's why this simplifies to negative 4 over 3. They're both over 3. 2 over 6. 2 over 6 reduces to 1/3. So that's the 1. That's the 3. So that's how that works. All right, in these last two problems, we're used to use the discriminant. So I'm just going to write that off to the side. That's b squared minus 4ac. So I know what I'm using. So I still need to get this so it's all on the same side of the equation in order to find my A, my B, and my C. So I have 6x squared plus 2x. When the negative 1 moves over, it becomes positive 1. So that means my A is 6, my B is 2, and my C is 1. So I have B squared, which is 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times A times C. So 4 minus 4 times 6, basically, is negative 20. So if the discriminant is negative, there are no real solutions. I'm going to abbreviate solutions SOL. It's a bad O, I won't fix that. All right, and our second one looks different, but it's not. Determining x-intercepts is the same as finding the number of real solutions. So here's my quadratic right there. So my quadratic is A is 1, B is 12, C is 36. So I have B squared, which is 12 squared, 144, minus 4 times A times C. So 144 minus 4 times 36, because I can ignore the 1, is 0. So if it's 0, that means there's one real solution or one x-intercept. And that's it. That's all there is to it. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.